on this computer. Woohoo! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. I am creating some co-hosting abilities across the room. Welcome, happy Monday. I hope you're all bundled up and cozy because it is
Craziest thing in 4th grade that somebody had their air conditioning on.
That seems sacrilegious.
It's me, okay? It's just, I don't know.
I wasn't going to call you out. I was just saying.
I think that, the lady downstairs bumps her heat up because it's like 72 in here. So I'm like, oh, my God.
So, that's so nice.
Over.
I wish it was 72. It was like 58 in my house this morning.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we just moved in and we don't know how to use the heat in our house. So I've been Amazon priming, if anyone knows my greatest weakness. Potentially some mini heaters, which we don't need and will be a true waste of money and resources for my family again. So,
I'm using a mini heater right now. See it right there? Oh yeah. My husband doesn't want to turn the heat on for oil, so.
It is expensive. It is really expensive. Welcome all. Caitlin is going to be doing the main part of our presentation today. If anything happens technologically today, feel free to just shoot me a text. I think 90% of you have my phone number. And we're going to dig in together. Caitlin, you have sharing capabilities, and let me know if you need anything else.
Nope, I think we're all good. Sarah, if you wouldn't mind monitoring the chat for me.
I got you.
Perfect. And y'all can just come off mute and ask questions as we go. That's wonderfully totally fine. So hello and happy Monday. Cannot believe it is September 21st. That is just a wild amount of time that has gone by in this year. But I'm super excited to see a lot of you that I haven't seen in a few weeks. So it's really nice to see your faces. We're gonna start with a little quote. Miss Fuller, could you come off mute and read this quote for me?
I would like to be remembered as someone who used whatever talent she had to do her work to the very best of her ability.
Thank you. So as we think about the notorious and legendary Ruth Bader Ginsburg, just thinking about what talents we have today and how we're bringing them to our work to allow our students to find their talents and to execute those talents to the best of their abilities as well. All right, our goals for today. Travers, could you come off mute and read our goals for me, please?
Our goals are individual students demonstrate strong or exemplary growth on STEP/FMP and Math Map, and 90% of children hit proficiency end of year benchmark on STEP and F&P. Additional internal goal, individual students demonstrate strong or exemplary growth on Science Map 3 through 4. Whew, tongue twisters.
A lot of maps.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. These are big goals, and we are in week 3, kind of week 4, kind of week 1 of school. So as we keep these big goals in mind, we've got to think about what are the building blocks to meet big goals, right? And that's going to be a lot of what we talk about today is how do we get somewhere that seems quite high from where we are now. And a journey begins with a single step. So today is one of those steps. All right, so in order to do that, in order to meet these big goals, we have to get clear on what organization systems mean to us and to students. So our goals for this session and for what will become your action steps in your work time this afternoon are threefold. Number 1, increase student work outputs, and we'll dig into specifically the what and the why there. Number 2, to build students' skill in organizing their own work. And number 3, to create a tool that students can refer back to build their schema, right? So how do we help our students become learners and not just people who kind of hang out in our Zoom rooms and talk to us, right? What are they doing to actively engage in school throughout the day? So if we could all just take a few moments to look at this picture. This is our lovely 1st grade student, Francesca Dominique. And she has this notebook paper in front of her. And so as we think about our 3 goals, Kayla, could you come off mute and read these 2 questions for me at the bottom? What should we be thinking about as we see this graphic organizer in this notebook?
One, how does this tool help meet these goals? And two, what did the teacher think about to create this tool?
Awesome. Thank you so much. So take about 1 minute to just look this over. And then I'm going to call on one person, Jelana, to answer number 1 for me, and Lindsay, number 2 for me. So take about 1 minute of think and read time, and then I'll come back to you. All right, Jelana, how does this tool help meet these 3 goals? And you can be as specific as possible, and if you need to phone a friend, please phone a friend.
Right. I think as far as like the work output, we have a clear to-do for students. So if you had asked them to fill this chart out, you could have them show you their paper at the end so you can confirm that they actually did the work. And then it also is a tool for them to like organize their thoughts, and it's written down somewhere so they can come back to it at a later time if they need to.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That was great. And Lindsay, what did the teacher think about to create this tool?
Well, I believe the teacher is doing guided reading at the moment, it seems like, and she, like the aim seems like it would be like character feelings. So again, like she thought about, okay, what do they need to do? They should make a chart. Oh, they had to talk about character feelings and reasons why they're feeling this way, events in the story.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. And Lindsay, can you just in case people overlooked it or missed it, how did you know that that was the aim for the lesson?
By looking at the chart. Oh, and then right up top there, sorry, describe feelings, what and why.
Perfect. Yeah. So the focus.
Oh, yep.
Yep. That's why we're doing it. Perfect. Nice job. As we look at example 2, Rosa, could you answer number 1 for me after? And Ms. Kelly, could you answer number 2 for me after? But I'll give you all, again, about 1.5 minutes of thinking and reading time. And then those 2 people will be able to come off mute, but take about 90 seconds here. About 1 minute left to dig in, making sure that you yourself could answer these questions before our peers come off mute and explain for us. All right, Rosa, number 1, how does this tool help meet these 3 goals that we have?
It helped them in organizing their work so we can clearly see here what it is that they're working towards, and they're also using a number sentence to represent their work. Sorry,
Nice.
I stuck on my words there.
No, that's good. And how did you know, Rosa, just to help us all clarify? So we've already decided we know that the F is focus. Could you help me understand these R's and this SE?
So sorry, I'm still thinking of Lindsay. I had to tell her I love her. So I did, so for the R, I figured they were regrouping. I noticed they have the circles and different. It looks like then they went and dropped 1 in each till they got to number 15. Then they used this representation. So each circle has 3 of them. So then they went ahead and represented that as well to show their thinking.
Nice, wonderful. Yeah, so for math, So for math, this would be the representation, and this would be the sentence or the equation. And Miss Kelly, could you round us out? What did the teacher think about to create this tool?
Yeah, I think about when they're solving problems, they obviously have a focus of what they need to do. So this is a real life equation. And then thinking about like how much space and what the kids need to physically do in order to solve the problem. So there definitely needs to be a bigger area for them to represent, and then a space for them to show their equation, whatever they would write that matches what they drew. And then just thinking about how that might look on their paper, because they might want to put it the other way, representation at the top or bottom, but this allows them to just make sure they have those two things on their paper.
Great, thank you so much. That was very helpful, and I got some real-time feedback from Fran that R is represent and S is solving strategy. So my bad. All right. So as we go forward, so just taking a pause, and then we'll call on a couple of people to share out here. What is the impact of scholars structuring their workspace aligned to this image below? So thinking about all the elements of what you see on the page, what is the impact of scholars structuring their workspace aligned to this image below? Take about 1 minute, and if you would like to share, use your blue reaction hand raise button, and I'll call on people with raised blue hands.
Caitlin, can you see the raised hands as they come through?
I can, yes. I've got Ms.
Perfect. Okay,
Carnagoni
great.
and Mr. Rollins. No surprise, obviously, 4th grade leads the way, so just saying.
Couldn't find the blue hand, but I raised a different hand, if that counts.
Same. I can't find the blue hand
And mine is not blue either. I was like, mine kind of looks like my skin, but it's not.
No, under
It's like
participants.
when you, it's like you hover over your name and then it shows up. It's really nice.
Yeah, I see Miss Kelly's raised blue hand.
If you guys go to participants, and then when you guys can see all the participants in the bottom, it shows you the raise hand thingy.
I see theirs, but I don't see the option for my own.
All right, well, we'll come back to do some Zoom tips and tricks a little bit later, but I've got a bunch of raised hands. So Miss Mello, trying not to be 4th grade biased, but you're the first one I saw. Miss Mello, come off mute and tell us what you're seeing.
Not only does it like help students to like keep their own work neat and organized and like very clearly go like step by step, like, and so that they can see what they did. It also very much so helps me to see what they did. And so I can see if and where I'm not a math queen, thank you, Nicole, but it's not true. But I can see where they messed up. And so I can see like specifically what the gap is and like what to attack there.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that reaction, Miss Mello from Miss Dominique, but she was singing your praises big time. And Miss Rollins, what are you thinking? And then I promise not to pick another 4th grade teacher, but all the 4th grade teachers raise their hands.
Yeah, just to build on to what Naomi said, sometimes in math we ask specifically for their representation, and then sometimes we need to know if they got the right answer. So this gives kids a clear place to be able to look at their work and answer the question based on exactly what we're asking for. And yeah, just like, I just know if we don't give kids this structure, they most likely would just be writing it in different places. I can only imagine without being able to see it how they would do it. So this just gives them a clear way to be able to access what they did and be able to share that with their teammates.
Yes, that's one, exactly. So not only does it help them, it also helps us. So Rosa, I'm going to change the question on you. So feel free to like throw it back to me and be like, no, thanks. But so what's the work that we need to do as teachers to ensure that we can drive these outcomes?
We need to show them how to get there. So having an example set up. So I actually took a picture of this. I know I can't show this one because Sarah just said it's the same one, but now I know that I can copy this with different numbers and show it to them so they can get an idea of what to do.
Yes, it's like I planted you in the audience, but I didn't. That was so good. Miss Ewing, would you like to jump in here and clarify some things?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little self-conscious for 2 reasons. One, and I think it helps that you can see Fran and my work side by side. We are not telling kids they have to show their work in one way. And I want to be really clear about that. And you can see like subtle differences between Fran's work and my work. This is not a one way, my way is the highway. I think that that's actually the phrase. This is not a my way is the highway thing, like make your box, put this here, put that there, you're missing this thing. The intention behind creating a scaffold or a structure for work is to get kids understanding it's like when I'm at home, I'm still producing really strong work outcomes. And on the teacher side, it actually helps us think through what is the thing we're looking for and what is the thing that's actually going to help kids get to that outcome. And so in this piece of work right here, I knew I needed to see like an actual array based on the problem. I needed to see a multiplication equation based on the problem. And then I want to see a complete sentence answer, especially from our 3rd and 4th graders and 2nd graders, because like those are actual skills they're driving towards. So I just want to like name up front, feeling very self-conscious because I was the queen of like, there is one way to do things on a piece of paper and that is not it. And so, yeah, Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Subscribe to Sarah's YouTube page here. But if we do look at this example, Sarah's example and Fran's example, there are some similarities between the two. So what are we seeing as like, no, this is just good student work. All students should be doing this as we look from this example to this example. And if you could raise your nice little blue hand, practice your Zoom skill and show me what you're thinking. Ms. Popov, go ahead.
So in both examples, the aim in kid-friendly language is at the top, and then the work has some kind of structure to it.
Okay,
like,
so we see the aim, good. We see the workspace, good.
it's
What
both
else?
and like both parts of their thinking. Like we have representation and solving, and then we have like characters and feeling.
Okay, good. So there's like clear like steps perhaps to the work that they've got to show over the course of the lesson. Ms. Silva, do you want to add to that?
Just a little basic thing, but like name and date so that it's official and not just like scratch paper.
Yes, that is not a little simple basic thing. That is the thing, right? Because if we were thinking of like what would a student be doing at school, right? They would be writing their name on their paper, they would be putting the date on the paper, having the objective to organize their thinking, and then having the workspace. And the goal, right, is like give them these tools to get to these big goals that we have for the end of the year.
It's also a good habit for them to maintain because like when they do go in person to school and have to turn in work, it has to have their name on it. So if they forget.
Yep, exactly. Yep, and in K1, can't pass the test without your name. And in 4th grade, you can't get credit unless you put your name on the paper. So, you know, we all got to do it. So as we think about this and as we think about what we need to do, right? Like what we as teachers need to do to get students to form these habits, to develop these schema, to build these skills, this is what like a possible like math outcome could look like, right? You would have the student's name, the lesson date, the focus, like you said, in student-friendly language, right? Like this is what I am doing today. Like I understand what I am writing. Setting up their workspace with their representation, their labels, setting up their solving space with their labels, and then writing that complete sentence answer in 3rd and 4th grade for credit, right? We might see that a little bit differently in K2, but we're still seeing that progression of like, no, this is my math work. This is what my math work looks like today. And I know this because I know that this is how I drive to that objective. We can send you this PowerPoint after too, if you want. In humanities, we're looking, right, again, for student names, lesson dates. Those are kind of like, you got to get it down. You got to keep yourself organized. The objective, right? A clear, again, clear student-friendly objective. In 3-4, we're probably looking for a 2 to 3 sentence chapter summary. In K1, we might be looking for feelings, like a feeling reaction to what happened in this chapter. If they're doing writing, looking for a space for them to actually write the guiding question and then have some space for writing, right? That might not be a structured space. They have lined paper. It might just be like, you are writing your story here. Here's the question, you're writing your story. If there's a thinking question, they might write the thinking question, then below that, write what they're thinking, and then finish the sentence I heard my classmates say after the discussion, so that they have these notes, they're developing these systems, and that you don't have to, when they're doing a final project or they're doing math review, you don't have to develop everything from the beginning, right? You can say, turn back to your notebook, look at what we did on September 21st. How does what we did there help you study for this today? How is that similar to what we're doing today? Oh, if you forgot, go back to those notes. Because I think we've already all heard students say, like, well, what happened in class on Friday? I don't know. Well, if you had your notes, you know, you might be able to go look back at your notes. And if you were absent, you know, we might be able to help hook you up with like our exemplar teacher notes too, right? So, oops. As we think about how we are moving forward with this and how we drive forward with this, what makes sense for work time this afternoon is to think about how this actually looks for your week. So in your week, how are you going to ensure that you are creating the systems, that you are modeling these routines, that you are setting students up to do the work, to be able to show the work so that we know what they're learning, they know what they're learning. I, walking into a classroom, would be able to see what they are learning, and that you are clear on your outcomes day over day, and eventually, right, week over week. I'm gonna pause there and just open it up for like bigger questions, thoughts, confusions. Ready, set, go.
My question was, like in the remote world, if they're doing their work on, like if they're in a Nearpod or whatever, if they're not using scratch paper, is this like standard for every lesson or more in person? And if they are doing it on a low tech?
Nope. So I think this is just for this is the remote team is the only team that's here right now. So this is absolutely definitely for remote people. Because I think what is happening with Nearpods, as good as they can be for some things, what we are losing is students being able to track what they have submitted, right? Once it goes into the Nearpod, it doesn't like pop out into a student folder somewhere. It is just housed like in your Nearpod library, and it disappears. And so this is a nice intermediary step between like, here's your open response question. I actually want you to take 5 minutes and I want you to physically write your answer down. And then perhaps in the Nearpod in 3rd and 4th grade, you're just giving me your top 3 points. But I want you to hold up your paper to the camera when you're done. And in the Nearpod, I want you to put your top 3 points. Or I want you to draft your answer for this open response. And then I want you to edit and transfer it into the Nearpod so that they have both, right? They're developing those higher order skills of like editing, revising, but the physical act of writing is really gonna drive a lot of like holding in that knowledge. And you're absolutely right. You can just take that picture and put it right into the Nearpod if you want. Other questions or thoughts?
Wait, Brandy, do you mean you can, while you're building a Nearpod, take a picture of scratch paper?
Nope, students can take pictures and put them into the Nearpod. Like as a work submission instead of typing.
I'm just thinking about the timing. Like I know things will get better as they get more used to the tech and hopefully it just glitches less, but for now, would you be safe to say like that we should just focus on this, and if there's time, have them type it into the Nearpod, but just like focus on handwritten work? Because I just don't see the time right now for them to handwrite it and then transfer and edit to type it into the Nearpod, because things are going kind of slow.
So
I co-sign.
Okay. Yeah, Sarah, can you jump in? I have an answer, but go ahead. This is 3rd grade.
Cool. And then if we disagree, it'll be more fun. This is a place for kids to just get clear on the work they're doing, because the draw it tools on the screen probably are actually taking up more time than anything else for kids to be able to show their mathematical thinking. I am not, I don't have a kindergarten 1st grade brain, but I'm thinking 2, 4, especially when we get to multi-step story problems, just the level of complexity. And so this is one of those things where it's both a push for like how we're planning and how we're executing in the content. Like there are things that we should cut out and prioritize getting kids into practice more, so that getting kids into practice more so that they're able to internalize the content for that day. And Sherry, that might mean it's like, you got 5 minutes for this problem. 4 of those minutes you're gonna spend pencil to paper, showing that work. And then the last minute, you're transferring your answer into Nearpod. We can try and do those picture things. I haven't seen it yet, and that is like a gap of my own, like technologically right now. It's also literally being able to type in the answer onto the screen of just what the answer is, and then digging in deeper with kids. It's like, what did you actually do to get to that level of understanding? So this is a thing to support scholars in developing their conceptual understanding. It's also a thing for us as adults to get clear, what is the work we're looking for, and what is the scaffolded tool that we're going to provide to kids while they're at home to help them process and access content.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing, I completely agree with you, Sarah, and I think what we're seeing is actually like a gap in students internalizing content, and that's because online learning can be quite passive. It looks like I plug my answer and I forget about it, but the physical act of writing like makes different connections in your brain than typing does. And especially for like people who are young, who have like neuroplasticity, like just firing, right? Like their brains are constantly developing new pathways. Like the act of handwriting is going to ultimately buy us more long-term retention than perhaps typing would. And that's not to say it is one or the other. Like that is the work we need to do as teachers of like, what's the skill here? What's the objective? What pedagogy makes sense to target that skill? I don't know if that fully answers your question, Sherry. Please feel free to jump back to either me or Sarah after too if you want more clarification.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool. Other questions?
I have a follow-up question. Sorry, it's for the people who said that they've done this with the camera. So I'm wondering if there's a way. I guess I kind of liked seeing on the draw it feature, like if I saw that all of them were drawing their arrays like way off, I just stopped them and went back. It was like easier to do, like to monitor their work as they're working and do like a mid-workshop kind of interruption. Whereas I'd hate to give them like the whole 5 minutes and then they upload it and then it's all like if something wasn't clear and I need to restamp. So do you guys have a way that you're like kind of monitoring progress as they're working? Or
Brandy, I don't want to throw you out there, but I saw you in the chat, so if you want to jump off, please.
Talking to y'all.
Sure. So I have them tilt their camera and use like a dark crayon or marker, and then I can see them doing the work while they're writing and representing, and then they take the picture so I can like show the rest of the class while we discuss it.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are I'm just gonna leave this slide up, but this is your time. You have from now until 4:30 to go and make this happen, especially starting with this week. Like, what do you want to do to like have students produce their thinking and to show their thinking this week? Feel free to use this as a collaborative time to kind of IPP with your group as you need to in an informal or formal way, depending on what you need, and to start to develop these notebook structures for yourself, developing your own perhaps scholar model notebook during this time so that you know exactly what students are driving towards through each class each day over the course of this week especially. I'm sorry, just checking the chat.
It's just me, Caitlin.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. So with that, you are absolutely welcome to stay here and ask us all questions. You are absolutely welcome to go and do your work until 4:30 or beyond, but let's say 4:30 for you all. And just thank you. Please give us feedback, let us know, and we look forward to seeing some really awesome student notebooks coming out of this week because you guys are rock stars. Thank you so much, and I'll see you hopefully sooner rather than later.
I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, it's me, right? Oh, it's just me and all the deans. Hi, guys.
Hi,
I'm Rosa.
Rosa, you're the one person I was like, I met Rosa when I went to school and we sat next to each other and I met her and that's when I was like, I want to come work here.
Yeah, nice. Yay. You see, guys? I'm not so bad.
You're not bad at all, Rosa. You have very thoughtful questions.
So I know that, and I guess it's more like for Sarah wise, because you had sent us that we have to have like a way, like a tracker, for us, for the students. Also, for students who also need extra help, is it okay to merge those? So for the tracker that I had, I have space. Actually have it here. You know, so I can put things here too, like the notes and so on. So is it okay for me to still, like, you know?
We can't hear you as good, Rosa. We can see it, but we can't hear you as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. A truck was passing by.
I can see on it. It says, wait, put it back up to the screen, Rosa. It says at the top, date, math notes, math stories notes, humanities notes, and then IEP goals and notes. I think
Yeah.
that's incredibly strong. What's the thing you're asking to?
If it's okay to merge them, because you
Yeah.
had, I'm sorry, I didn't scream at you. Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God, I pinned your video onto the screen, and when I clicked unpin, it shot my face at me, which was just not really what I wanted to see in that moment. That had nothing to do with your volume.
Sarah, when you first said that, I'm like, damn, so she reacted like that to my face.
It was a lot. There was a lot of my face right in front of me.
It's okay. So definitely okay to merge them, right?
Yes.
Just making
Yep.
sure. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Simplified
Bye, guys.
and effective.
Bye.
Bye, Rosa.
Okay. Bye.